What's up, everyone? It's episode 29 of Beers in the Lot. This episode, we spent some time talking about how music gets us hyped for games and brings hockey players together in the room and in the lot. We also talked about how some guys are just natural athletes. Everything they do seems to turn to gold. So, here we go. Oh, we got Daniel pouring into the glass tonight. It's an assumption with Riggs.
So he had poor envy. He had to do it.
Only the most refined palates drink out of a glass.
I had to do it tonight. So Riggs had a beer that was I think he said it was in his top 5 last week. So I'm bringing my top beer, and that's Dogfish Head Midas Touch, and it's delicious. My favorite beer of all time.
It's almost like I've had that before. It's almost like wine.
Yeah,
Like it is. It's like
yeah, it's awesome. What are you drinking, Aaron?
Well, last week I had a Maui Brewing Company, and I teased that I was going to be bringing out another one of their products this week. So today I have a Pineapple Chi-Chi Nitro Golden Ale.
ooh,
And
nitro.
Ooh,
Yeah, it is good. It is good. It's got pineapple, coconut.
those are some of my favorite things.
Coupled with a nice warm day. This is a summer beer through and through. Like, I can't wait to have some of these in the lot in summer. They're gonna be great. What are you drinking tonight, John?
So I'm drinking. I've had this actually before. I got it again because I liked it. It's Buzz the Tower from Calvert Brewing Company. It's an ale brewed with raspberries and cold brew coffee. So it's a little on the sour side. And I know I've been dabbling back and forth in it. So a repeat, but a good repeat, I think. So
Oldie but a goodie.
oldie but a goodie. What about you, Eric?
I have volume 16 of the Hidden Hop Yard series. It's a double IPA from Manor Hill Brewing in Ellicott City, Maryland. It's pretty big.
It looks big.
Yeah, I mean, they can't, right? It's a pounder, but it is definitely a double IPA. It is hopped up. It's good, though.
Good stuff. I think we were light on ideas this week.
Yeah,
I liked yours though, Daniel. Daniel,
Yeah, I
you had
like
the
that.
idea to talk about our bangers that we listen to get hyped before a game.
yeah.
So what do you listen to, Daniel? Tell us. Inquiring minds
So-
want to know.
I do like a mix of music. Metal is always a good go-to. Rap, I like rap. I like a lot of hip hop. John always plays "Started from the Bottom" by Drake, which is also it's always a good banger.
Yeah,
to go
that
with before
song.
the game.
That's we've had conversations like, well, I'll make a playlist, and I usually kind of control some of the music if I'm in the locker room. It's just a creature of habit, I guess. Like not that I'm in charge completely, and I don't allow other people to play music unless you play like Fish or something. Like I want to throw your boombox against the wall, but normally like there's 3 or 4 songs that are always on it, and it's just something. It's not like a superstitious routine, but it's something that in terms of getting me loose necessarily, because we don't get super serious about beer league, but it kind of dials me in. Like I'm here to have fun, want to enjoy myself, play around, so definitely a lot of Drake heavy on my playlist, and then like a lot of oldies, 80s too. I know there's a few 80s songs we always have on there, right, Eric?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, on the drive over to the rink, I listen to way different stuff than what I listen to in the room with
Absolutely.
everybody else, right? Like when I'm driving over, like I'm a old school metal guy. And when I say old school metal guy, I'm not listening to old school metal, even though there's nothing wrong with that, because I do like that was my favorite kind of music growing up. But when I'm driving over, like on Sunday for this last pickup skate, like driving over, I was in a big like thrash metal mood. So it was like old school Bay Area thrash, obviously like Slayer, but then like Exodus and Testament, and then even going to like German thrash, like Creator, and like some crazy stuff like that. Like just basically letting the playlist go where it goes, right?
Yeah.
And like my drive, I don't live that far from the rink, which you guys
What,
know,
4
but
minutes?
yeah, I mean, it takes me 10 minutes to get there. So like, I just turn whatever's on and I drive over, and then I sit in the car for a little bit these days because, we can't use locker rooms, but whatever. And then when we're in the room, it's like way different. Like Johnny said, it's more like a party type atmosphere. So it's hair metal, it's 80s pop, 80s like new wave stuff. It runs a gamut. You'll get like some country tunes in there. You'll get
It's basically the stuff that
Like-
everybody likes, like
Right.
it's
But
not going to be like, there might be some people who are like, oh, but in
Yeah.
general, 90% of the room is on board and thinks that whatever's playing is going to be a banger.
right. And everybody, since it is like Johnny said, it's just beer league or adult league or whatever, and it doesn't matter. So we're really just there to have fun. So again, it's like it's party music. It's like what you would play if you were having a backyard barbecue or something
Right,
like that, right? So that's kind of where I go with it.
I think that our real question is like personally, because I'll say from my point of view at least, if I'm driving to the rink and I have a 30-minute drive to the rink or whatever, and I'm driving alone, I'm going to listen to very different music than if I'm sharing the car with Daniel.
I
Right.
appreciate it, bud. I appreciate it.
Because he and I don't have the same, like, we don't always get hyped up to the same kind of music. I mean, I'll get hyped up to some of his music, and he may or may not get hyped up at all, maybe even downed by my music at times.
no,
But it's
as
very different.
As long as you don't play Hans Zimmer on the way to the rink,
I knew he was
You
going
know,
to say that.
I'm good to go.
See, that's the thing. Some pieces by Hans, some instrumental pieces really just, I don't know, get me going. And
That's all
I'm
personal,
weird. If I was running the music in the locker room and I put that shit on, then I'd probably not be allowed on the ice. But it's all personal preference.
Well, I know
Exactly.
like my playlist too. Like I love Kiss. This is it's not a secret. Everyone knows. So like not almost every time, actually probably every playlist I've ever made has a Kiss track or two. And then kind of like what you guys said, it's like rap. There's some
Mhm.
metal on there, especially hair metal. Like just have a good time. And it is more, I almost, because we play with the same guys repetitively, you do hear some of the same songs all the time, but B, also like, kind of the taste of some of the guys on your team. Like there are some guys that really don't like rap, so I may put a few less and more like classic rock or 80s. And it's, just to make sure everyone's loose and kind of having fun with it. That's really what it's about.
And that's a really good point about kind of knowing who your teammates are,
Yeah.
right? And because I tend to bring a speaker a lot too, and I'll kind of run the music or whatever. And you have to know like who's on your team and kind of like, okay, what are they going to be in tune with, and what are they, if you play something that they don't necessarily like, but making sure that it's also not something that they're going to be like, I don't know, pissed off about or like complain about or whatever. Cause you don't want any, like, you don't want any negative energy in that environment,
No,
right? You
negative.
want to be in the room. I don't care if you're playing competitive hockey or if you're just playing beer league on Sunday nights, like you want it to be completely positive and like a party and just everybody's up and they're vibing. Is that what we
Well,
say
right.
now in 2021?
Well, I remember one guy we actually play with who doesn't talk a lot. He's a really nice guy if you actually have a conversation with him and everybody likes him, but he is more on the quiet side. And I remember I had Def Leppard Love Bites on the playlist.
Oh yeah.
And I'll never forget because he was sitting next to me that night in the locker room and it came on and I start kind of like bobbing my head as I'm tying my skates and he goes, "Man, I haven't heard this in years. I love this song. I remember when I was in the Air Force, I listened to this." Like, and you you could see like the vibe around him just like totally change. He's like, man, this is great. And he was never one of the people that was like, I like music in the locker room. I don't like music in the locker room. You could just tell it was kind of like, he just kind of dealt with it in a funny way. Like he's like, I'm here to play hockey, but just that now we have a connection and it's super cool.
So you say that about music in being in the locker room without music after having music. Oh my God. It's like a morgue.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
I especially, everybody knows this, I'm the chatterbox. I need something going around, even after
I always need something to drown you out.
Yeah, and well, you know how like Danny, like sometimes we've lost games jokingly, and you'll play like a really sad song like jokingly, and then you're like, all right, screw this,
breaks the ice.
change it.
Breaks
like
the
you
ice.
do it as a joke. Yeah, you
Sound
do it as a joke.
Sound of silence.
Yeah, you do it like really quick as a joke. It's funny.
One time, I forget which team I was playing for and who was on the team, but we lost a game in Old Fat Ball Guys, and I had the speaker, and I searched on I think it was on Spotify. I searched like sad country songs and just let it play. and we were all dying laughing the whole time. It was so funny.
I'll never forget this one time. It was I don't even remember what team it was. Me and Daniel, and I think John was on the team. Rixby, you might have been on the team too. And we lost the game, something like 7-2 or something like that. I don't know. We got destroyed. So we're in the locker room, and this one guy was on the team. This guy is just in a terrible mood. He's like aggressively untying his skates, putting his gear into his bag or whatever. Picks up his gear and storms out of the room and like slams the door. And then Daniel, with absolute perfect comedic timing, starts singing, "How could this happen to me?" It was so perfect. Like music could and it totally changed the atmosphere in the locker room. Like, unfortunately not for that guy, he didn't get to experience it. But everybody else remembers that game because of that funny moment, and it totally changed the atmosphere.
And then, like, you can have, like, with the music, you can have like themes too, right? Like in 2 weeks, it's St. Patrick's Day, right? So you might do St. Patrick's Day,
up to Boston,
whatever. Yeah,
whatever.
exactly.
Yeah.
Lots of Dropkick Murphys and all the like. But or if I don't know if it's coming up on summertime, you might play a summertime beachy kind of a lot of Jimmy Buffett and maybe some reggae tunes in there, like some other stuff. Like it's supposed to be a good time. It's really not about the hockey. It should be you're having a party in the room and everybody's invited and you're just all there together having a good time.
I want to go back to what you said about like knowing your audience too, because music has this, and it ties in with what John said too. Music has this very unique ability to bring back memories and to strike up, emotions, or what, like you tie emotions to certain songs or whatever.
Absolutely.
And not the least of which is, inside jokes about songs. So funny experiences that happen while a specific song is on or whatnot. So I'm going to use an example here. So one time we were in the locker room and Eric's playing the music and he's got the playlist rolling, and 2 or 3 songs in a row was all by the same band. And I was apparently not really paying attention. And I asked 3 songs in, I was like, is this Rush? And it was like Limelight or something like that. And the previous one was, I don't know.
No, it was like
3 in a row.
It was like
Rush.
3. It was 3 tunes off of Moving Pictures. If you don't know it's Rush by then, like, come on, man.
I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. So it turned into a joke. And now every time that Rush comes on, somebody has to chime in with, "Hey, is this Rush?" Like,
And then what's the appropriate response?
"Yes, you fucking idiot."
Well, and two, it's like as funny as I remember it's happened before. We've been in the lot afterwards, and you talk like about 80s music. Like it just comes up like, "Oh, you play that tune? We'll play it in the lot." A little bit, especially in the summer when you can hang out a little more open air. It's great. And I remember at one point someone goes, you know who's like a semi-forgotten band, but they're not really, it was like Huey Lewis. And for like the next 5 weeks straight, everyone that played music in the locker room
It was
was a lot,
all
Huey Lewis.
all
And
Huey
it was
Lewis
great.
on the news.
And it was great because everybody liked it. And that's the other thing too. Like Aaron, you mentioned it. It brings people together. So especially like we're pretty fortunate. We play with the same guys consistently. So all of us, for the most part, like the same types of music, like the same genre, and we can even have fun with it, even if you're not the biggest fan. Like it's not your Monday morning song you're going to play in the car on the way to work or doing whatever. But on a Sunday night, you're like, yeah, why not? It's Sunday. It's the weekend. I'm going to have a little fun. Stuff like that. So that's what you want.
And is there a better feeling than the entire room singing along to the same song? Like some songs come on and everybody's just got to sing it.
And that song is Allentown
by Billy Joel. That's exactly what I was thinking of.
And actually, so that the funny thing about that song, we kind of joked. I don't remember if it was me or the other guy who kind of did music. We would switch off kind of. And I remember we weren't the best team that year in the league, but we always played really hard. And we made the joke like, yeah, we're like coal miners. We go in, we go out, we punch a clock, stuff like that. We would say, hard hats and lunch pails, the whole cliche of, working class type stuff. So it was either him or I can't remember, played Allentown, and it just stuck for years now. Like anytime that goes on, you're all clapping your hands and stuff.
It's turned into victory music in our league, actually.
It's the victory tune for Johnstown.
Yeah.
If we win in Johnstown, we play Allentown, which it kind of makes sense, but doesn't because
Allentown's in Pennsylvania. It's in the same state. I mean,
it's in the same state.
Close enough.
Okay.
It's also kind of like closer to Philadelphia too. Yeah. Like we're more on the Pittsburgh side.
Yeah.
It's not even central PA. We're like definitely western. We're talking about an eastern side of the state.
It's a working man's song, right?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And everyone knows the words, so
it
works.
That's the key.
So we all scream it in the locker room.
Yeah.
I was on a team with Daniel, and we were playing up in Hagerstown. I tried to turn Allentown into a song up there, and it just didn't go over.
No.
I don't know what the deal was. You got to have the right moment. It's got to be time.
You don't force things.
You can't force
things.
We already had the victory song as Jamiroquai Canned Heat.
Oh, well,
banger. Certified banger.
Jamiroquai. That is great.
Is that guy selling? Is he still making music, or is he like making lattes somewhere? What's he doing? Like,
I don't know. He couldn't get out of that spinning room in the one
the
video.
room
with virtual insanity. Virtual insanity.
He couldn't get out of that room. He couldn't get to the door. It kept spinning around.
I think we should mention too that part of our routine for going to Johnstown, since we were just talking about it, is that we got to make a playlist. And it's kind of evolved over the years. Like at one point, when we first started doing it, we'd mention a song and then in our group chat or whatever, and then one of us would add it to a playlist and we'd end up playing it.
At first, it was 2/3 vote.
Yeah, because it was 2/3 vote because it was just Daniel, John, and I.
Yeah, it was 2/3 vote, and I put like the entire Kiss Destroyer album on, and I think like they were like, you get 2 songs. That's all you can get. 2 songs.
2 you can do.
You get 2 songs. And then I remember the funny part about the first time we did that list was halfway through the drive, Aaron kind of looks up. He goes, I made this playlist and I've not heard a single song I wanted on this thing.
We just put it on shuffle and we let it go.
It was on shuffle. It was all Danny and I's songs.
You guys' songs. None of mine were playing.
So,
I mean, we talked about the playlist before we went up this year because this year's playlist had like, I don't know, 14 hours of songs on it or something. And I think we did the calculations and we were only in the car for
5 hours total, maybe.
Yeah. So,
with driving around in Johnstown.
Yeah, driving around in Johnstown. So there's no way we heard even half of that playlist.
Which is probably all right because more than 2/3 of it was put on the playlist by Eric.
Well, that's correct.
But we also were like, the four of us, we kind of know what the other likes
yeah,
predominantly, and
Yeah.
it's not that bad.
yeah.
And there's always a hidden gem where, like, I remember the one year it was green jelly.
You're
Rick,
welcome. Three Little Pigs.
Three Little Pigs.
You're
And
welcome.
I remember it just came on, and I remember I was driving, and I actually kind of like turned in the back. I was like, "Is this green jelly?" Three Little Pigs. He's like, "Yeah," and it was a nice little gem in the middle of the playlist there. It just kind of picks you up. It's great.
Little pig, let me in. Yeah, man.
It wasn't this past year. It was the year before, I think, where we had to make a pit stop in Charlestown, West Virginia. We're going over the bridge between Maryland.
Hold on.
We went to 4 states.
We're going to tell this whole story.
Hold
We
on.
went to 4 states before we got to Pennsylvania.
Hold on. We did our traditional lunch at Black Hog in North Frederick. And then we got all piled in the car and we started driving. And somebody didn't bring their inhaler.
It's true.
Then we had to have their wife meet us at the Taco Bell in Charlestown.
Thanks, Hannah.
Anyway, what song came on over the bridge?
We went over the bridge between Maryland and Charlestown, and guess what song came on? Mr. Denver's classic Country Roads.
Take me home to the place.
It was on shop. It was completely random. I didn't even set it up that way.
Yeah, sure. I don't know what John Denver's talking about. He's full of shit.
Well, we may want to mention that he's got it wrong. He's talking about the Blue Ridge Mountains. Those aren't in West Virginia. They're in Western Virginia. So
Rocky
what is
Mountain
he talking
High?
about? No,
That's a
I'm
different
talking
song.
about Country Roads.
Oh,
He talks about the Blue Ridge Mountains, which are in Western Virginia, not West Virginia.
well.
So I don't know. I digress.
Yeah. He's also, I mean, he wrote that about a road that's actually right down the road
Like
from
in
here,
Gaithersburg,
about a half
right?
hour south of here
Yeah.
from
Right.
Frederick. So, it wasn't, I don't, who the hell knew? He was,
Who cares?
who knows what he was on when he wrote that?
Yeah, very good point.
I'll just leave it
Yeah.
there.
We don't know. We'll never know.
Aaron, you were talking about Hans Zimmer and like the movie music gets you up, right?
Yeah.
So,
Hold on.
I
I need
used
another
to-
beer for this.
Daniel is not a fan of Hans Zimmer.
Well, I'm not going to actually talk about the music because I don't care about it either. It doesn't really
Fair
do
enough.
anything for me.
Mhm.
But I used to watch when I was much younger. I would watch certain movies before games, like
Right.
like when I first got out of college and I started playing in adult leagues and stuff and in beer leagues. I was really into like the movie Casino and
Yeah.
Gladiator had just come out within
Oh, yeah,
like, a
good
couple years of that. So I would watch like those. For some reason, Casino would like get me hyped for hockey. I don't understand that, but I would watch that movie before games and I would be like ready to go. Like,
So
let's
now-
go skate.
Now to
It
kind of
was so
derail
weird.
on a movie thing, because you guys know Casino. Well, we've talked about this. I love that movie.
Yes.
Are you more like a, Nicky Santoro kind of guy?
No,
Are you a
no.
Sam
Ace.
Ace Rothstein?
Ace
Okay.
all the way. Ace all the way, dude.
I love Joe Pesci. I'm a Nicky Santoro guy. Like,
Weird.
yeah, weird. I know. But Ace in that movie, Rob De Niro's character, that's still one of the best. That's bar down one of the best roles he's ever done.
Dude, so in some of
Without a
the most stressful situations, that character is so smooth.
Oh, without a doubt.
Like when he goes to meet Nikki in the desert
Yep.
and he knows like when he's driving out there, like he was probably gonna
Nicky's coming to
kill him.
whack him. Yeah.
Right, he was gonna kill him. But he goes out there and he just talks to him and he actually like dominates him a little bit when he's talking to him. He's just like, this is the way it is. This is the way it's going to be, blah, blah, blah. And then Nikki tells him the truth about why he was sent out there and everything. I don't know. He's just in those like super stressful situations. He's super calm and like almost he's definitely like the dominant character in all those situations, even though he's at a great disadvantage. And I think that's awesome. Like,
Well, and especially
so cool.
I like it how they play opposites, where like you said, it's funny you mention it. Like Ace plays it super cool, calm, collected. Anytime the heat turns up on Nikki, he overreacts. He almost goes to the extreme to try and quash the situation, and it actually gets worse.
Yeah.
Like like you mentioned that scene of the desert, which is hilarious. He goes like, "You're coming after me. You better get your own fucking army, pal."
Yeah.
Like it's hilarious. Like
Ace is like he's like trying to ratchet down things and like being calm and just saying like this is the way it is, like blah blah blah. And Nikki's like, "No, I'm going to war. Like this is happening and you're either coming with me or you're not." Like, yeah, dude. Dude, that movie's awesome. It's awesome.
Nothing makes me happier than just seeing the Yinzer in the stands, right? From the highlights with the 2 icy light pounders. Like nothing makes me happier. I'm like,
bro,
the game day cans.
20-pound hammers.
Hell yeah.
Dude, that was me a couple years ago when we were up there with the kids for the tournament. And Toronto was in town. It was like the second to last game before Babcock got fired from Toronto.
Fuck yeah.
Good job. Good job,
dude,
Brendan
I'm sorry.
Shanahan.
That guy gives the blandest fucking commentary in the history of the world.
Dude,
it's embarrassing.
It was so awesome. Like you could go up and get two 24-ounce cans at a time. Icy lights.
Game day can.
That's a 25-pound hammer.
That's a
Tell him, Ray.
Tell him, Ray.
Tell him, Ray.
You don't get these by petting kitty cats.
That's right.
Greatest commercial ever.
I have a great picture of John holding a Molson pounder at the Caps game.
Oh, years ago, yeah.
Yeah.
I have nice hair, and it's like all black. And now I age like dog shit.
Like, you age like dog shit. Holy hell, bro.
What?
Have you seen this? It's all like turning gray.
Yeah, but the hipsters with the
and
beard
it all
and
went
shit,
from here to here.
Yeah, they dig that.
Oh, look at Ovi. Ovi's got all that gray going on. He's only, what, 35?
He's a
36?
silver fox. Silver Fox.
Yeah, so that's a shampoo my grandfather used to use, Silver Fox.
He's a Silver Fox.
Mm-hmm. There's too much vodka.
Yeah, you get that gray and score 50 goals a year in the league.
Yeah, right. I'm not bashing. I'm not bashing him at all.
You get that gray and score 50 and not do any push-ups in the off season. Good on you, buddy. Good on you. He just shoots tennis balls in his driveway. His unpaved driveway. Like his metro parking lot driveway. That's what the pavement's like.
He's definitely one of those players that would have fit in perfectly with like the mid to late 90s.
Yeah.
When guys were big and strong, but they weren't really working out that much yet. Like
They're
some guys
darts
were
in the locker room.
Some guys weren't. Like I don't know, man. The guy just stands there and shoots.
Well, you can't tell him to work out. Like, hey, work out more, because obviously
he's gonna be like, why?
Whatever he's doing is working. Whatever he's doing is working.
Yeah, don't mess with that.
He's gonna be like, why? I'm scoring 50 a year. Like,
does he ever get injured?
No. He would like he was like he didn't practice before the 2 New Jersey games this last weekend, and everybody's freaking out. They're like, oh, and then he plays and he scored on Sunday, I think, or
finally. Thank you.
One of those
fantasy.
games, yeah. Like,
well,
whatever.
Ovechkin is though, like, and we've had this conversation. Like, he's one of those very special athletes that come along every so often where they don't have to do everything that everyone else does, because in the way they were created with the DNA and just their God-given ability, they can just go out and perform. And especially in today's, athletic world, like, that's not normal.
John Walker.
It's far from normal.
John Walker, have you ever hit a hole in one?
No, sir, I have not.
Alex Ovechkin has hit
I've
a hole
tried.
in one.
Yeah, I've tried.
like some people are just.
I'm actually surprised he plays golf.
Well,
I am too, actually.
If you've seen him swing the club, he doesn't actually play golf.
But he hit a hole in one.
But he hit a hole in one.
Disgusting.
It's just there are certain people that are just good at physical
everything they
stuff,
try.
right?
Yeah.
Like, they're just good.
Yep.
And two, like you were saying with the hole-in-one type stuff, like really good athletes, sometimes their mechanics are off for certain things. Like you see JJ Watt skate, like, you know, I'm using him because I've seen a few videos.
He didn't look bad.
He doesn't look bad. He doesn't look great, but he definitely does not look bad for somebody who makes a living playing NFL football. Like,
right. He looked like
he looked pretty decent.
He looked like he could hang on Sunday nights with us.
Oh, absolutely. And then he'd probably tell us to all drink protein shakes and get up at 3 a.m. with him and lift weights and stuff.
I don't know, man. I think
we go.
Cool.
I'm sure he's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a Midwestern type guy. I'm sure he's cool.
Yeah, I think he's cool. So one day, we're all going to record in person. We're going to record this podcast in person, right?
That's the plan.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
All right. But we probably need to think about it a little bit, and we probably need a little bit of help to get some of the resources that we need to make that happen.
Yeah, we each have like a microphone in our house and like a little thing for the microphone. Does one microphone. But when there's 4 of us in one spot, we're going to need things that do 4 microphones, and we don't have those things. So we kind of need some help. We need some help from you listeners out there that might be interested in maybe getting a little bit of merch for yourself at the same time. We got the koozies now. We got pint glasses coming. I've been doing a little bit of looking into some hoodies and other merch. So these things are all coming down the pipe, and we actually just launched our Patreon page. You can jump over there and see the different tiers. We're also going to be doing some more stuff for like bonus kind of content where you can listen in as the podcast is being recorded and hear us all completely uncut and unedited and all that good stuff. I kind of hope you don't do that.
No, man,
I'm not going to say that.
Aaron's like, run away now.
Run. I'll say a different joke.
Good idea.
Actually, that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
that was
funny.
All right, well, maybe we'll leave it out. So we have our Patreon up. If you're feeling like you want to help us out, if you like the show, you want to help us out, then go check it out. We're not going to push you on it too much. We just wanted to let you know that we're launching the page, and we'll remind you in an intro and outro here and there.
If you really want a Beers in the Lot koozie for your next beer league game, you should definitely go to beersinthelot.com/Patreon. And once you get your Beers in the Lot koozie from beersinthelot.com/Patreon, make sure you take a photo of yourself having a beer in the lot after your beer league games or skates, maybe your ODR sesh, whatever it is, and make sure you tag us on social media at Beers in the Lot using your Beers in the Lot koozie.
Or even just tag us in general, you know? Like we'd like to see you guys having a beer in the lot. That's what our show is about. So send us a picture of yourself doing what we all love to do. And if you can do it with some of our merchandise, like a koozie or a hoodie, then even better. So check out Patreon at beersinthelot.com/Patreon. Just so you know, all Patreons will get extra access in Discord as well. So if you're listening in while we record on Tuesday nights, you can actually react and share a story or whatever in the text chat as we record. We'll be reading chat so we can react to what you say and incorporate it into the discussion. So if you haven't already, be sure to join us on Discord at beersinthelot.com/Discord. And that's it for this one. Thanks for your listens and for your support. We'll catch you next week.